Hello and welcome to the Movie Podcast review of DC League of Super Pets. My name is Daniel, and joining alongside me is my fellow super pet, Anthony. Hello, Anthony.
Hello.
You doing okay?
I'm doing well.
I need to know right off the bat, what super pet would you be?
I knew you were going to ask me this question.
Of course. It's almost like we planned it.
Is this like what superhero would I be teamed up with, or what powers would I possess?
So I like the way you're thinking about this right away, because if you think about what character you want to team up with, it may help form what animal you may be. Right. So if you want to hang out with Batman, then you would be a
bat.
A bat. You got it. If you want to hang out with Wonder Woman, you might be a
cheetah.
There you go. I like this is like word association. I like this a lot.
Very true.
So what are you thinking?
If I were to team up with anyone, it would probably be Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to be a bat.
I wouldn't want you to be a bat either, because that's scary.
It's scary. Man-bat. I also can't fly during the day.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I can only do at night.
Right.
It's a lot of issues. For me, I would like to be a dog.
Okay.
Like, who doesn't want to be a dog?
I think so too. Yeah.
But if I'm a lion.
So, you know those great comic book runs from the 70s where Batman was teaming up with a lion?
No, was that an actual thing?
It sounds, okay, it's from the 70s. It could have happened.
It could have happened, yeah. Like, I would be a lion with my blonde hair.
Right.
And I would have a cowl. And I'd be called Bat Lion.
Bat Lion?
but the lion.
But Lion. Is he Russian? Is he a Russian superhero, by the way?
No.
But Lion.
But the Lion. Yeah, that would be me. What about you?
I see this movie and I see Crypto and I'm like, man, I think just being a dog would be awesome. I think being a dog would be really cool. But I would have to be a dog that flies. So that's my thing. I don't want to just be any old pet. I need to be a super pet. I need to have the powers of Superman.
I'm guessing Superman is your...
Yes, I'm hanging out with Superman. Of course I'm hanging out with Superman. So, but what powers does your lion have, by the way?
Oh, I have a roar that can like shatter your bones.
It's like Black Canary almost, but...
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I can eat you.
There you go. That's all you need.
After I shatter your bones, I eat you.
Okay. What's great is Shay's not here. So Shay, we can assign whatever animal we want to him.
Oh, Shay is Granny Goodness.
Granny Good. He's teaming up with Granny Goodness.
Granny Goodness.
So Shay's what? It's like just like a old like cat. Like what?
Yes, an old cat. It has no powers.
No powers.
Just annoying.
Okay, there you go. Shay, I'm so sorry.
I yell at him and then I eat him.
Oh, there you go. Because you're the bigger cat.
Yes.
Okay, Shay, I apologize on behalf of myself. I did not say this, but
what would be the granny power? His cat power would be what? Annoyingness or
coughing up
fur balls
and excuses why he's not on this episode.
Exactly.
I'm so kidding. No, we love you, Shay. Shay was not able to make it to the review today, so you are stuck with Anthony and I. But as always, you could catch a brand new episode of the Movie Podcast every single Monday, and you could watch out throughout the week for our review episodes and our interviews and all the latest movies and series. Make sure you follow us at the Movie Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Letterboxd, and don't forget to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Join our Discord and write into the show at hello@TheMoviePodcast.ca. Check out our show notes for all of those links and more. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, please make sure you like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and let us know what you thought of this very movie and our review. Please let us know. There's some really great episodes out right now on the Movie Podcast feed that you could check out. First and foremost, I want to shout out our most recent main episode of the show, where we are talking about everything that was announced at Comic-Con. So please go listen to all that, catch up with all the Marvel news. And Anthony, I wanted to let you know that today we are also celebrating a landmark episode. Because this is our 400th upload on the Movie Podcast feed. So you've heard us say, welcome to the Movie Podcast 400 times.
I don't even know how to count up to 400.
That's concerning.
Yeah.
But I believe it.
Yeah.
Obviously, clearly not counting is something your cat powers, your lion powers aren't.
Yeah, we don't need to count.
No, you don't need to count. You just eat whatever.
Right.
I like it. But yeah, 400 main, or not main episodes, 400 uploads to the Movie Podcast feed. So that's including our interviews, our main episodes, our reviews, our just random episodes that we drop, our commentaries. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. No, it's been, these past 2 years, it's been a wild ride, and we've seen our podcast grow, and even the number of episodes we do per week have drastically changed. So, we're hitting like what 6, 7 sometimes a week, depending on what we have.
On very, very busy weeks, yeah.
So 400 can slowly become 800 and 1,000.
Where do you think we'll be at by the end of the year? Do you think we'll be at 600 episodes? Do you have another 200 this year? That's a lot.
That is a lot. But
I don't think so. I think we'll have at least another 100
You
this
never
year,
know. No, I would say
never know.
Another 100 for sure.
Okay.
We would hit 500 for sure.
Oh, that's the goal. We'll see. Today's episode, of course, the reason why you're listening to this, the reason why you tapped on this episode in your podcast feed. We are talking about DC League of Super Pets. This is a brand new animated film featuring the Justice League, featuring Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and all your favorite DC characters are showing up in this movie. This film is directed by Jared Stern, and it stars the voices of Dwayne Johnson, Kevin Hart, Kate McKinnon, John Krasinski, Vanessa Bayer, Natasha Lyonne, Diego Luna, Thomas Middleditch, Ben Schwartz, and Keanu Reeves. And of course, this is the DC League of Super Pets, so this is not a Justice League movie. This is a movie with the Justice League in it, but surrounding their pets.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Anthony, I'm going to get you to read us the synopsis.
Krypto the Superdog and Superman are inseparable best friends, sharing the same powers and fighting crime side by side in Metropolis. However, when the Man of Steel and the rest of the Justice League are kidnapped, Krypto must convince a ragtag group of animals to master their own newfound powers for a rescue mission.
Thank you very much for that. DC League of Super Pets is releasing on Friday, July 29th by Warner Brothers, and I want to say thank you to our friends at Warner Brothers Canada for inviting us to watch this movie. Now, normally, when we have three of us, we'll kick it off either to Shay to do the first reaction or you do the first reaction.
Yep.
But today, I get the pleasure of doing the first reaction, which is something I don't normally get to do. And I want to let you know what a damn delight this movie was. I was honestly going into this movie. It's no surprise of how week in, week out, how much I'm talking about, man, what's Warner Brothers doing with Superman? Why aren't there a Superman? Where's the Superman movie? Where's the Superman announced? So it's just this weekend we're like, no Henry Cavill on stage, no announcement of what to look forward to. And what I'm so happy about DC League of Super Pets is that this movie just understands what makes DC Comics special. And it understands Superman. It understands the Justice League. It understands who these characters are. Yeah, it plays with the archetypes of these characters. They're a little bit more characteristic in this film that you're normally used to seeing them in the comics or in the movies. But that's really what makes this movie unique and what makes it special. And I think the animation in this film, which is done by Animal Logic, is really beautiful. And I think the relationship between Superman and Krypto it's not something we've really seen established on screen before. You know, me as a Smallville fan, Krypto was on an episode of Smallville, and Clark wanted to call him Krypto. They ended up calling him Shelby because he had powers. It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing on Smallville.
Excuse me?
It was Clark was rescuing this dog. They were doing like kryptonite experiments on them. He had powers and he lost powers, whatever. But there was also a Krypto the Superdog show that I remember growing up watching for like the season or two that it was on. But like you don't really think about Krypto too much. And I remember when this movie was announced, it's like, oh, okay, Dwayne Johnson, Kevin Hart. Like you already could tell like the type of banter that they were going to have. Because again, there's no denying their chemistry. They have great chemistry. But what I wasn't expecting of this movie was it to be a great Superman movie and for it to be a great movie about friendship and depending on others and learning to work with each other. And I think that's what this movie gets so well. It gets that Superman relationship done well. It gets the feeling of Krypto wanting to do good and wanting to save the Justice League, but he has to learn to work with his group of ragtag animals, which is great. And I really loved it for that. I thought this film was just so really well made, and you could tell that there was so much love and heart and soul put into it. Anthony, where are you with it?
Krypto was, growing up, Krypto wasn't a big character for me, but I knew what he represented to Superman, and he's like pretty old too. Like I think he was first created in 1955. So
wow,
he's an old hero of sorts. Even though
he's an old dog.
He's an old dog at this point. But he was always there, and he always was an interesting character because you wondered how the hell did Krypto get to planet Earth? And I love the little story that they did tell of Krypto and Clark and how they came to Earth, and they do kind of touch upon the destruction of Krypton and all that, which is really, really
what
cool.
An opening for this movie. I did not expect it to go right into that. And right from that very moment where you see them together as puppy and as a baby, you fall in love with them.
Yeah, no, I think that's what the movie does well, is it makes you fall in love with the idea of like these superheroes having pets, which is so not like something that you haven't seen before. And especially with Superman and Krypto, their relationship kind of is in this in between, because Lois has become the girlfriend or the soon to be wife, and Krypto has like a little bit of jealousy towards her. And it's just funny to see that, this dog with superpowers is jealous because his best friend is going to be marrying someone, but at the end of it, they're still going to be family. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm not the biggest fan of The Rock because of The Rock being The Rock. So
it's hard to see past Dwayne Johnson being Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, I'm looking at Krypto, and I'm seeing The Rock.
You're seeing Dwayne Johnson.
They don't relate. Like we would say, for instance, Keanu Reeves' Batman. It feels like that. What's his name?
Who?
The dog's name, his best friend,
Ace.
Oh
yeah,
played by
Kevin Hart.
They just work together.
Like their voices go with their characters,
and they look similar.
I got you. Yeah,
but with Krypto and Dwayne Johnson,
you're hearing Dwayne
work well for me, because I just see this bigger persona than Krypto.
Yeah, for sure.
But I love at the end of it, I love the story. I thought it was really, really cute. The animation was fantastic. It told a really good superhero story.
Yeah,
and the comedy was pretty funny.
It was. You could attest to it. I was laughing throughout this movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of like inside jokes, but even jokes where you, as a superhero reader, you wonder like, that's funny, like little gimmicky things, like Cyborg having a battery that powers him.
Yeah, like it's just funny,
things like that.
And that's the thing, you've heard Shay and I talk about Teen Titans Go to the Movies, where it's not afraid to poke fun at the DC universe, and this movie isn't afraid to do that either. But it also does it with such a respect for these characters, and it knows what makes these characters special, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what I love so much about it, is that here are the most beloved superheroes of all time. Let's show them to you in a way that you've never seen before, but also in a way that's very recognizable and it's very loving, and it's also funny as well, because you want something that's funny, but you also want something that's full of heart. And this movie has a Kevin Hart, and it also has just a lot of heart in it. And I think, going back to Krypto, yes, his voice could have been anyone, but it's Dwayne Johnson, and you hear that it's Dwayne Johnson because he has that confidence in his voice. And I think the confidence, like his performance, isn't bad. It's just you just hear that it's Dwayne Johnson, right?
I think it's just Dwayne Johnson has put himself in such a position that it's hard to see past
Dwayne Johnson,
Rock, and the character that he's playing.
Right.
So that's where I'm conflicted. I wish maybe it would have been someone different.
Right. I get it. I totally get it.
But other than that, like, I thought this story for a DC Super Pets was probably one of the best DC stories we've experienced. On the big screen in a very long time.
It's crazy because like here you have Krypto, who's obviously dealing with who's best friends with Superman. You see the relationship. It's awesome. There's a really great Justice League fight in this movie too.
Yep.
Like, oh wow, you just see them working together. They're having a great time, and then you see the relationship obviously between Clark and Krypto, or Superman and Krypto, I should say. Don't want to give away his secret identity. They have such a great relationship with each other. So when Lois is there, and Krypto feels like he's a third wheel now. It's funny, and you see like Krypto. There's a scene that you see in the trailer where Krypto like throws Lois into the ocean.
My gosh,
that
was a really funny scene.
So funny because it's just like, no, I'm not going to do that. But like this movie like isn't afraid to like have fun with that. And like I said, it's genuinely one of the funniest movies I've seen this year. It's really, really good.
And Kevin Hart, and he's done quite a bit of like animated work before. So like his presence it just suits this type of environment.
Because he's also not just Kevin Hart. It felt like he saw the dog that he was playing.
Yes.
And he was almost just like, I'm too old for this type of stuff. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
he gave it a different, like Kevin Hart portrayed this dog not as Kevin Hart the dog, but this dog who's actually gone through some serious things in his life that's ended, that has kind of put him in a spot where he feels left out.
Yeah, it's amazing though. I will say there's some great sequences of Superman flying and some great imagery in this movie. And again, watching this, wanting a Superman movie and seeing, I literally leaned over to you after a couple scenes. I'm like, why can't we just why can't we get this? Like, they got it, you know, like they know exactly what it takes to make a Superman movie. And Jared Stern, the director, like, my hat's off to them and the team who animated this, because they understood Superman. And I'm not saying people who don't understand Superman in the past. I'm just saying that this was Superman. This was a hopeful, charismatic, also goofy Clark Kent, but also like it was all encompassing. And it felt like I was watching Superman. And right from the get-go, like, this movie is I shouldn't say weirdly. This movie is emotional when I wasn't expecting it to be. I think this movie could have really leaned into the silly jokes, the very bottom of the barrel type of low hanging fruit jokes, and it doesn't. This movie goes a level deeper than I wasn't expecting it to, and I really appreciate it for that.
Yeah, like there is, like we talked about, there is a lot of comedy, but at the root of it, there's a lot of heart.
Yeah,
which is something that I wouldn't expect, and maybe that's just our experience with Warner Brothers films at this point, because a lot of it is always not great when it comes to the DC universe.
Oh, in terms of on the DC side, I mean, we've been lucky. Like, to be fair, we've been lucky with the Batman, the Suicide Squad, right?
But like, this is the first time we've seen the Justice League again on screen.
Well,
since
with
Snyder's,
the Justice League, right?
And this is a so much better movie.
It's really full of heart, like you were saying, and I think what's really special about it too, that there's a speech that Crypto and Ace have where Ace is just talking to Crypto. He's like, do you know what a dog's purpose is? And it's to love unconditionally.
Unconditionally, yeah.
And you're just like, wow, this movie is like hitting me right in the feels right now. And I loved it for it. And we got to watch it. There's a bunch of kids in our screening as well too. And these kids were, I think, eating it up as well. And I think there's so much for us who will be like the older audience watching it. And then I think there'll be a lot for kids watching it too. So like, it's a perfect family movie that way, right?
Yeah, they did a great combination of having jokes that relate to the kids, and we heard the kids at certain points in the film, and then jokes that are related to the adults who are probably going to be accompanying these kids, and it's just a great all around combination of comedy for them. And I think it's important when you focus on both groups in an environment like that on the big screen. But yeah, that scene really connected with me. There's a lot of scenes that kind of resonate with me, especially because it reminded me of like Toy Story 2.
Yes.
There's similar scenes to like Pinky and the Brain, especially with the villain of the villain,
Kate McKinnon's guinea pig, Lulu, which is again the second time this year in an animated film that we've seen guinea pigs as the bad guys. So for all of you guinea pig fans out there, I'm sorry. It might be a trigger warning for you, but guinea pigs are clearly evil.
Yeah, I didn't know they were so bad.
It's also really funny too, because just last year we had Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt playing, on-screen partners, and then Jungle Cruise, and now this year we have John Krasinski and Dwayne Johnson playing Superman and Crypto, which is
interesting. I didn't put those two together.
Yeah,
so.
John Krasinski, I loved his voice as Superman. Like he had like this again. He just had this charismatic goofiness to him, and you're just like, this is what Superman should be. Like, he should be hopeful. He should just be a hero. And I would love to see an animated film, a full-on animated Justice League film at this point. You could do a spin-off
with these versions of the characters,
and introduce
comedicness to them.
Yeah, and introduce more versions. I love that. We got to see a lot more diversity in the cast as well too. Where Green Lantern, it's not Hal Jordan, it's Jessica Cruz, who we haven't really seen on the big screen before. I would have loved to see Jon Stewart, but the nice thing with Green Lanterns is that there's so many of them.
Yeah.
So why not? Why can't there be a different version in this movie? And Wonder Woman too.
She is very jacked.
Yeah,
that's the first thing I'm like, holy mac, her arms are huge.
But the actress who plays her,
Jamil, she's playing
she's going to be in She-Hulk as well too.
Jamila Jamil.
Yeah, she plays Wonder Woman. So that casting, that her voice playing Wonder Woman reflects the way her character looks. And I think that's really important to see that, because I for so long we look at the Justice League and it's like, here are your heroes that you're used to seeing, and they're all white, and I think it's cool seeing that, and especially with us, just on this last weekend's episode talking about what representation and what diversity should look like. This is, I think, an example of doing it right.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is a Justice League. These are supposed to be saviors of the world, and that this team should reflect that. Yeah. And I would love to see more, characters in this world, right? And hopefully where things end off, there could be definitely room for a sequel. And I would 100% be there for a sequel because this movie did so much right. And most of all, it's just the characterizations and the story and just the heart. And this movie just nailed it.
Mm-hmm. Keanu Reeves, I want to speak on Keanu Reeves. He did such a great job as Batman. I think his introduction when he's watching Superman and Krypto like hug it out, and he cries like, "I miss my family."
He's like, "I miss my parents."
His deadpan, on point, humor just works for this character, and Keanu Reeves does this fantastic job doing the voice work for him. It just works well.
It does work well, and I think the look of the characters too. You know, I've been seeing some people on social media saying, "Oh, look at the way they're portraying these characters in terms of because like the animation's unique. It's just not, you know, it's not like the clean lines that you would see like in a Bruce Timm animated film or from the Batman, you know, animated universe, stuff like that. It's unique looking, and I like that they have a kind of a bigger look to them. It reminds me a little bit of how The Incredibles are.
Yes,
you know, we're like
tapered down,
a little bit more exaggerated features, but I think it works for this universe. You know,
I think the dogs look fantastic, but like I could see like how the humans might look bigger up top and smaller at the bottom, but like it works for the character because it reminds me of, you know, the Max Fleischer,
the golden age, right? The golden age looks of superheroes, right?
Yeah,
you want them to look godly, and especially like Batman and Superman, they look massive, right? And it's really good. Again, I cannot speak more highly about this film in terms of its comedy, its heart, its humor. It just really nailed it, and I was just really surprised by it, and I think that's it's one of the best surprises of the year for me. Like leaving it, I'm like, wow, they did a great job.
We were worried about it. We were like, oh, it's The Rock, it's Kevin Hart. Like, how are we gonna?
It's Krypto. Like it's based on like animals. So like, are these superheroes going to be in it? And they are. They're in it for a great deal of it.
Well, yeah, they did a really good job.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to see what comes next, and I really hope this movie does well. I think it's going to do really great this weekend with families. So we'll wait and see. Let's get to our final recommendations. Anthony, I'm going to get you to start us off.
I would say this is a watch it. If you have kids, or even if you're a DC fan and you want to watch a fun DC film for the first time in a while, definitely go to the theaters and watch League of Super Pets.
Yeah, and I think just to jump off your point, it's an easy watch it for me. Go watch it in theaters. You'll have a great time with your family. This is also like to what you were saying. This is the first like DC movie that you could take your family to. I would say maybe since even when I think of like Wonder Woman or Aquaman, those were still kind of dark and longer films, right? So I think it's been a little while since families have been able to take their kids to see these heroes on the big screen on the DC side, and I think this is the perfect movie to bring you back to theaters to do that. And you're gonna get kids falling in love with these characters in a different way. I think you're gonna put Krypto and Ace the Bat Hound on the map in different ways too.
Krypto's is finally getting his due.
Crypto's getting his due
since 1955.
55 exactly. And
how many years is that?
It's
a lot of years.
It's a lot of years. It's a lot of years, and you know, it's just at the end of the day, like we said, it's full of heart, it's full of fun, and it's just a great time at the movies. And especially if you're a DC fan and you're scared of this movie, if you're off put by it, don't be. Go in. You're going to love a lot of it, and I think it's going to be worth your time. So go watch it for sure. Thank you so much for listening to the movie podcast review of DC League of Super Pets. As always, you can catch a brand new episode of the Movie Podcast every single Monday. There's a brand new episode out right now where we talk everything Comic-Con 2022. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Letterboxd at The Movie Podcast. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, join our Discord, and write into the show at hello@TheMoviePodcast.ca. Don't forget, look forward to all of our incredible reviews and interviews coming over the next couple weeks. We have a lot of great surprises coming your way. You don't want to miss it. That was This Time with The Movie Podcast, and we'll see you next.